We are finally going to flood this tank. It is struggling right now. There's a lot of die-off happening over there. This whole bare patch right here. Some over there in the back behind those rocks, they're turning yellow. And I'm worried that if I go any longer, it's only going to get worse. So we're going to flood it, but it's not going to be set up how we wanted. So you see how this tank is on the top of my stand? I originally planned to put a canister filter, but where am I going to put it? So normally a canister filter should be below the tank because gravity will pull the water down into it and then shoot it back up with the motor. So I want to put it right here, but as you can see, I've got a bunch of junk there. So I'm going to build a stand. I'm going to build a stand right here. I was going to do it where I tuck in some 2x4s and it's just held by pressure and gravity. But then I decided I'm just going to build a stand instead because it's a whole canister. I don't want any chances of it being bumped or tipping over, falling, because this is going to be over 20 gallons of water that could possibly be on the ground. So we're just going to stick a hang on the back filter on this tank instead of running the inline diffuser that goes to the output hose on the canister filter. We're going to get this set up because I feel like I cannot wait any longer. It's probably been 7-8 weeks. I think I wanted it 6 weeks, 6-week mark. I wanted to get this ready, but I just couldn't find CO2. And I've just kind of been debating which canister filter I want to use. So I've got a Seche Whale 500, but it's going to be way too strong for this tank. So we might have to do like musical chairs of some canister filters to figure it out. But let's get this guy flooded. Let's get a small hang on the back filter, and let's just get a regular diffuser. I think we're going to flood it first, pop on the filter, and set up the CO2. So finally got CO2 refilled. Finally. But the thing is, I went there, I have a 10-pound CO2 tank. They only had 3 pounds left. So I took it, told them, give me everything you can. So it's 3 pounds. That should still last me for like a month. Minimum, it should be. For this small tank, I don't plan to blast it with CO2, so that should be fine. So let's get it started and add some water. So I am gonna take this piece of plastic, if I can remove it. I'm gonna make it so this is my water diffuser, water disperser, so that everything doesn't splash everywhere. Let's see if I can position it well. I think that should be good, and let's let it rip. Might have been a little too strong, but I do have full control over, so let me lower it a little bit. All right, so I lowered the pressure. As you can see, it created a divot because it was too strong. So lowered the pressure, and we'll just wait until it fills up and try to fix that little divot. The water's filling up well. Looks like the leaves aren't floating up, which I knew because the root systems were pretty adequate. We're gonna pop on a hang on back, but I've been debating on where I want to put it so that it gets enough flow, but it wouldn't be in the way of the lights. I mean, ultimately, I wanted it to go sideways. I still think I do, just to create that flow to go across the entire tank. But I gotta figure out if I want my light more in the front or the back, and to see how much space it would really take up. All right, let's pop in some filter floss and turn on the filter. Just gonna add a small ball of filter floss into the hang on the back just so we can filter out all the fine materials, all the fine debris. Let's pop it with some API dechlorinator. We're not going to put in fish yet because I suspect that we're going to have an ammonia spike almost just because of all the stratum. So we're going to run it for at least a week and then test the parameters. And then you guys never want to run your filters dry. So we're going to add some water into it. You guys can see all the debris that's in the surface of the water and a dead ladybug. Tank's full. We're not going to talk about how uneven the tank is. It's obviously at a lower point on this end than at that point, and it is really bothering me. So when we get a chance, we are gonna level it out because it looks horrible. It looks horrible. I get it. But let's pop in the filter. All right, filter's running. Kind of running. There we go. All right, that should, it's got enough flow. It should suck up all the debris. We do have some floaters right there. All right, while that's going, I'm gonna have to clean this glass on the inside a bit. It's got, I don't know if you guys can make it out, it's got some hard water stains on the inside. The plants look like they're doing well. Okay, let's try setting up this CO2. I only know what I'm doing based off of videos I've seen. So here's the F-Zone CO2 regulator. I did get the Pro series because I do want to hook up more than one CO2 line, more than one tank to it. So let's figure this out. I mean, this guy, that's how you tighten it. It's just the, what is it? Is it the solenoid? Is that what it's called? So this is gonna automatically trigger when I plug it in on a timer. It's gonna tell me when the CO2 is gonna release. So I'm actually gonna get some plumber's tape. Got some Teflon tape. I'm gonna put a little bit on the threading just to make sure that there's no chance of leaks. I don't know if this is necessary. I don't think I've seen anybody mention or show that they do this, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay, and I couldn't figure out if this is going to, so looks like it comes in attachments, and this is the US plug. Guessing for EU, it's got a different plug, etc., etc. But oh, it does come with an Allen wrench. Okay, it comes with an Allen wrench and some extra O-rings. Figure out where those O-rings are supposed to go. I feel like the Allen wrenches is for this guy to pop one off. So let's go ahead and do that. See if we can remove. So the arrows. So if I'm only gonna have one, I should have this system, this drop checker piece in there. So it does loosen up pretty easily. I just don't know how loose it's supposed to get. Oops. There's already one. One screw, it's not even that big. Completely remove this guy. How's that even go? Oh, it's two-part. So this piece is already connected to that piece. I see. For some reason, this part only screwed off, so I've got to loosen the inner piece as well. I don't know if I'm going to do it with my hands. Interesting. All right. Let's see if that gets it in. Nope. All right, so it looks like this nut is threaded too tightly to the right side. So I'm trying to just release the outer one, but it's not going as planned. I might need a wrench or something to hold on to that inner piece. So as you guys can see, it's a little bit complicated if you want to remove one of these guys. So I'm almost wondering if I can just cut off one drop checker completely and just leave one open instead of going through the hassle of removing one of these pieces. Let's go ahead and just try that. Let's go ahead and run it as it is, but we'll see if we can close off one completely. And then the way we'll find out is if we have liquid present in both drop checkers, and as long as no bubbles are being formed. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and attach this guy. I think I probably need a wrench to tighten it. Definitely get a wrench. It's the biggest wrench that we have, but I think it's the only one that's going to fit this. So I really don't want it to ruin the metal there. So I'm going to wrap it with a towel and then twist it as necessary. Seems like it's tight enough. Everything is straight lined up. I think we need to set up the CO2. So I got my diffuser, check valve, and CO2 tubing. I don't know if CO2 tubing is necessary. Just heard that you should use it because it's sturdier and I guess the CO2 makes it break down easily. So I just got it just in case. So what we're gonna need is one line think we're gonna do it at the end. Does it matter? I wonder if it matters. I don't think it matters. Let's see. Pop that off. So we're gonna put the tube in it. Right? Alright, it's a very snug fit. Put this tube on the end. Make sure it's all the way down, and then screw this cap in. It's pretty snug. Almost wondering, I should probably put some liquid in there first. And we're going to do the other one too, just in case. Alright, so I am just using bottled water. The reason being, I heard these guys evaporate over time, and since I have hard water, I don't want it to stain. I don't even know if that's gonna make a difference, but that's what I decided to do earlier. That's what I'm sticking to. I know there's people who put other things in here, like, what is it, like vegetable glycerin or something crazy that I do not have. Apparently those don't evaporate, so I don't see it being a big problem. Make sure those are tight, no one to leak out. All right, so this is gonna go to my check valve. I always blow to make sure it's going the right way. And then to my CO2 line. So I'm just gonna cut it right there. The CO2 line actually does seem a lot sturdier than regular airline tubing. Alright, so everything is connected. It's gonna look like that. I just don't know how much I'm gonna need for it to go. So let me put this on the shelf and let's measure out all the lines. So I have a separate designated smart timer. I will pop in and we'll get it set up. Let me go ahead and get that set up first. CO2 socket is good. Let's go ahead and plug it in. Give it a little slack. All right. Tank. I think we'll be going up here. I'll figure out where I'm going to put it, because I wanted to put it in one of the corners, just because I would split the CO2, but let me check it out. All right, so it looks like that's on. Actually, maybe I'll turn it off first. And then this line isn't going to be long. So let's just stay there for now. And we'll pop it into the diffuser like such. And then I need something. Just gonna hold it. Hold it in the water. All right, ideally, I guess I want it low. I want it low, and I want it by the output of the filter. We'll see what happens there. Okay, this is just gonna be a temporary setup. Let's see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead I want you guys to see everything. That's good. Let's go ahead and turn the valve. Yeah, turn the valve. I see the pressure on the right side go up. All right, we'll go ahead and plug this in. It's plugged in. It should be on. I don't see any of the bubbles. Oh, just have to turn the right knob more. And it looks like the gauge on the left is going up. Let me try loosening the valve here. All right, we've got bubbles. So you can see the CO2 diffusing coming out here. This first one is tight, it's closed, so there are no bubbles coming from that one. But you can see the bubbles coming from the left side. It's at like 1,000, 2, 1,000. About 2 bubbles per, 1 bubble per 2 seconds. And that's what 1 bubble per 2 seconds looks like. I probably want to raise it a little bit more. Probably about a bubble a second. Actually, I think that's good. It's probably about 1.5. About 2 bubbles a second. I do have some water in here. I shot through there. Yeah, we'll figure that out. That's what my CO2 is looking like. It's going straight to the surface, so I might relocate that to right under the output. But I want to see what happens, what it looks like if I turn it off. So I unplugged it. The CO2, hopefully it's just gassing off. Because I unplugged it, so theoretically it should be turning off, right? I wonder if it just slows down to a stop eventually. I will have to keep that monitored if it doesn't. All right, well, let me leave it off, see what happens. In the meantime, I'm gonna move that diffuser to under the outflow of my filter. All right, so I moved it. I mean, the bubbles are really fine, but it just goes up and it pretty much still pops at the surface, which gives it very little time to have the ability to dissolve in the water. We're gonna leave it like this for now, just because I've got to figure it out, and I've got the inline diffuser anyways, which should give it more time in the water. But like I said, we need to get this tank flooded. And after about like 2 minutes, like it did stop, come to a stop. So solenoid works, we're good there. Got to put it on a correct timer. But yeah, guys, this is not bad. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, because it is extremely intimidating, which kept me off for so long to do an actual pressurized CO2 system. Like I said in my previous videos, I've tried the DIY stuff with citric acid baking soda, and I never had really good results. But the price I paid for all this was very comparable to if I got one of those CO2 generators. I know F-Zone makes one that you can just pour your mixture into, which is I think also citric acid and baking soda, and that will last you a little bit. The tanks are smaller. You are gonna have to keep purchasing your raw materials, but just getting the CO2 filled up, you know, I think it's the best way to go. I do think that only time will tell, see how it works and how long the CO2 lasts, but I feel like there are a lot of high-tech plant-to-tank keepers that have tested this tried and true. So yeah, I guess my experience so far is I'm digging it. I'm digging it, and I don't have to be worried about, you know, if there's gonna be too much CO2, because with those pressurized systems, I don't think there's a way for you to stop it when the lights go off. So yeah, I'm actually surprised how easy this was. You guys saw me put it together. I mean, you also see it here. We still got no bubbles coming from this guy. Yeah, I mean, I am kind of shocked how easy this was. Definitely, if you are intimidated and you're kind of on the fence, just go for it, because it was, you know, this is my first time. I've never touched anything with CO2 like this. So we'll do an update again once I get everything everything situated with my inline diffuser, and probably have to cut out some of these dead spots. I'm probably gonna run a net along the top to scoop out all that debris, because that's irritating, and then the filter intake is so low that it's not going to get that, because I don't have a skimmer on it. But yeah, I mean, everything's looking peachy right now. Fingers crossed that it stays this way. Quick update, because I did want to get that together, and if I wasn't going to make a video, probably going to drag on it a little bit more. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Stay tuned to see what happens next. Please give me a like and a subscribe. First time I'm really asking for that. Kind of testing to see how it goes, all right? Thanks for watching, guys.